He was trained in the shadows, forged into a weapon, and discarded the moment he failed. This is not just the story of a Sith Lord. This is the tragedy of Darth Maul. On the planet Twan Katie, a group of hunters traverse the swamp-ridden lands. Unfortunately for them, the predators are about to become the prey. A Rotha emerges from the swamp. It begins tearing into them, picking them apart like cattle. The hunters screaming, begging for their lives. One by one, the hunters are devoured by the wild Rotha, leaving nothing behind, except regret. Instead of helping, a man watches from above, enjoying the show. But now, it's his turn. Darth Maul leaps down to axe the animal. Hungry, vicious, relentless, Darth Maul is a different animal, yet the same beast. Another Rotha emerges, but this is what Maul lives for. He meets the first Rotha in motion, cutting through it as he advanced. The second Rotha's tentacle lashes out and catches his weapon. The pull is violent, dragging him forward across the ground. Now it's a struggle. Maul plants his feet, and even here his mind isn't on survival, it's on the feeling. Too brief. The tension snaps before he does. The tree breaks. The weight collapses onto the Rotha, crushing it. Maul straightens, watching it die. But there's no rush of victory. He looks between the two dead Rothas, and the only thing he feels is envy. They're hungry, yet they answer to no one. Time passes, and Maul finds himself in Coruscant, deep in thought. As two Jedi are talking to the citizens, he watches from the shadows and calls them cowards. He says that they are only hiding in the peace they enforce, and that their strength is waning. When the time is right, their end will soon come, and Maul will be the person they meet. He became an instrument of revenge. All the pain he's suffered, all for the day to kill a Jedi. Unfortunately, that day isn't this one, because today, he's here to meet with his master, Sidious, who begins to scold him. He says he told him countless times to avoid contact with the Jedi, yet Maul is testing his limits by getting too close. Maul asks, is he not ready to fight the Jedi? Sidious says Maul being ready is none of his concern, as he himself isn't ready yet. He warns Maul to check his impatience because it may ruin all of his work, or it won't be a Jedi who strikes him down. To quench Maul's bloodlust, he gives him a mission to assist the Trade Federation, who caught the attention of pirates. Sidious sends him to the planet Kellex to do his bidding. In space over the planet Kellex, pirate ships drift in formation, sweeping the planet, until an unexpected proton torpedo approaches from behind, blowing it up to pieces. While Maul watches them all scatter, he begins dropping mines on the pirate ships, making quick work of the rest. Meanwhile, the Trade Federation is being held at gunpoint by the pirates. They recommend the pirates surrender now, as their ally is extremely powerful. The pirates ignore them, saying it's only one ship outside, until a body comes flying at the window. Maul is already here. Blast of fire erupts instantly. Blue bolts scream toward him, but Maul knocks them all back. He's already moving. His double-bladed lightsaber, spinning into a crimson blur. Inside his mind, his own voice cuts through the chaos. He says these tasks will only distract him for so much longer. Maul stands between two pirates, his double-bladed saber skewering both bodies at once, one on each end, as smoke curls from the wounds. Yet even the sharpest blade grows dull. His desire to test himself against the Jedi only deepens, until he's interrupted by someone begging for their life, claiming he knows what Maul is. He calls him a Jedi and offers him information for his life. He tells Maul of a rumor of a Jedi Padawan who was captured by the cartel and is about to be auctioned off. Maul asks him where, but he says he doesn't have any more details. He does not like that answer. He begins to think to himself, a Padawan, an apprentice like him. This could be a good opportunity for Maul. That's when he's interrupted by the Trade Federation thanking him for the rescue. Maul responds, it's a pity the pirates killed everyone before he arrived. And just like that, he leaves. As Sidious has his secrets, so does Maul. He heads off to find the captured Jedi before it's too late. Nar Shaddaa. Maul describes it as a place of secrets, a place to lay low, where everyone has something to hide, a place to uncover truth, to understand something that you were never meant to know, a place you can acquire almost anything you need, as long as you are willing to pay with your life. But Maul has no plan of dying today. No, not until his vengeance has been satisfied. It will surely be a long life. He approaches the front counter as the bar crowds behind him. Zev Zrexus, says Maul. They claim to have never heard of him, casually brushing Maul off. They change the subject, claiming they are the same race of people. Maul cuts him off before he could continue. The man says he means no harm, and Maul has come to the wrong place, and he should leave before he gets hurt. Zev Zrexus, says Maul again, slowly losing his patience. They say only Jedi ask questions like that, and they call him a Jedi lackey. Maul kicks him through the window. The one thing he hates more than the Jedi is waiting, yet he knows he can't use his lightsaber. Sidious ordered him to remain hidden, no exposing the Sith before the time is right. To Maul, that command feels like chains wrapped around his throat. He gets sprayed with ink directly into his eyes, blinding him. The crowd swarms him, beating on him. They finally manage to knock him to the ground. For the first time in the fight, it actually looks like the numbers might overwhelm him. Maul silently reaches out through the Force, lifts a dagger from the ground and launches it straight into someone, killing him instantly. The rest of the crowd freezes because they never even saw Maul throw it. Before they can react further, they get attacked from behind and the remaining thugs are knocked down. Maul thanks them for the support, saying they could have gotten there sooner. It's Cad Bane, with Aura and Vordalo, the most devious of bounty hunters. If he hadn't hired them, Maul might have tested his strength against them instead. Bane ignores the attitude and tells him they found a way into Zev Zrex's auction, the same auction where the captured Jedi Padawan will be sold. Their meeting is cut short when Aura mentions that a couple of Jedi are nearby, and it won't be long before they come to their location, so they head off. As they approach the ship, the last of Bane's associates, Tech, is interrogating a droid they captured. The droid is being difficult, so Maul approaches. He asks the droid if he is already aware of what he wants, and the droid confirms. To jog its memory, Maul pulls out its last remaining eye. The droid has finally had enough and says he will help take the crew to Zev's auction. The Drazkul system. The droid actually gave them the correct information as they haven't been vaporized yet. Aura tells Bane that she has a bad feeling about all of this. She says that Maul is plenty capable on his own and questions why he would need their help. Bane is already aware of this, but it doesn't mean they won't get rich in the process, as there is a lot of money that can be made here. Aura asks where Maul is, expecting him to be here. Maul isolates himself and meditates, thinking back to when he was a child with Darth Sidious and Malachor. Sidious shows him the remains of ancient Sith destroyed by the Jedi and forces him to inhale their ashes. Maul experiences visions of Sith being slaughtered, filling him with generations of rage and hatred. Sidious teaches him a mantra to MAINFRAME of compense, far above, far below. What once was great is rendered small. These words haunt him to this day. He doesn't just want revenge for himself, he believes he is avenging every Sith who came before him. When they finally arrive at the auction hall, it's filled with major underworld figures. Hondo Ohnaka, Gracchus the Hutt, members of the Pike Syndicate, Black Sun representatives, and other criminals from across the galaxy. And finally, Zevs Rexes herself, who greets the eager crowd. She reveals the big prize, a surviving Jedi Padawan named Eldra Kaitis. While everyone else prepares for the bidding, Maul secretly slips away. Using his probe droids to locate her holding cell, he traverses the halls in search, the red cell lights getting brighter as he approaches his goal. And finally, Maul is standing face to face with the beautiful apprentice that he's been hunting. And instead of fear, Eldra just looks at him and asks, "Who are you?" Everything he's been waiting for is right in front of him. His vengeance will finally be satisfied. She asks him if he's just going to look at her, and Maul ignites his lightsaber. He begins to slice at the energy shield separating them. She doesn't fully understand who he is, but on a primal level, she knows. The Sith have returned. But before anything can happen, his probe droids warn him someone's coming. Maul immediately hides the saber behind his back, just as Zevs Rexes arrives with droid Deckers. Zrexes questions why he's in a restricted area, and Maul calmly lies, pretending to be Ciris Madrish from the Adrex Consortium. Zrexes lets him off with a warning, but tells him if he breaks the rules again, she will vaporize him. Back on the ship, the crew realizes they can't actually afford to win the auction legitimately. FEB3 explains the original Hadrex plan was never to bid. It was to rob everyone after the auction. Bane considers that plan bad for business, and asks Maul what he thinks. To him, the Jedi is the mission. Everything else is irrelevant compared to finally completing his goal. He walks back into the auction hall, surrounded by crime lords. So much anger flowing through him that you wouldn't even need the Force to feel it. Internally, he wants to slaughter every single person there until he reaches his goal. But he thinks about how Sidious would punish him for revealing himself, and realizes the patience and manipulation he's using is making him more like Sidious than he wants to admit. Then the auction for Eldra begins. Different criminal groups start bidding on the Jedi Padawan like property. Maul's crew makes their way ahead to secure the ship belonging to the Mugan crime boss, G-Craw, before the auction is finished. Eventually, G-Craw makes a bid for 2.5 million credits, while Bane and the crew take care of the guards on his ship. Going once, going twice. There are no additional bidders. Once Tech makes his way towards the ship, a group of people are watching from the shadows. They say to let Zrexes know that they took the bait. The crime boss makes his way towards his ship with the Jedi. Crow and his guards board their ship thinking they've succeeded, only to find Maul and the others already waiting inside for them. The doors seal shut behind them, trapping everybody together, while Maul takes his hood off to prepare for battle. He says, did they really think he would allow them to walk away with the Jedi? And Cad Bane agrees. Before he can even finish asking who Maul really is, Maul throws his robe directly at him. Using the Force, he tightens the robe around his face, suffocating him while Maul attacks the guards barehanded, beating armed guards with punches, kicks, and pure aggression while trying to keep the Sith hidden. Eldra watches all of this happen, and immediately recognizes the Force. She now knows exactly what Maul is. After Maul defeats the last of the guards, she begins to question him. He tells her she knows nothing about who he is or what he wants. She says that she knows that she isn't afraid of him, and that he's hiding who he really is from the people around him. He ignores her and tells the crew to get ready for departure before they are discovered. He begins to take her to the back room to have a conversation with her. Eldra tells him directly, "You are a Sith," and Maul doesn't deny it. Instead, he tells her the Sith are real, and that he is the Jedi's nightmares made flesh. She tells Maul that he's the one who's afraid, that the Sith are hiding in the shadows while the Jedi stand openly in the light. Instead of calmly responding, he starts repeating the mantra that Sidious drilled into him: far above, far below. What once was great is rendered small. Eldra almost mocks it, calling it a nursery rhyme. She tells him to take her out of the cuffs and hand her the lightsaber back, to see how that mantra will help against an equal. That's when Maul's anger spikes hard. He ignites her saber and tells her she is not his equal. No Jedi is. Maul tells her he will free her. He will return her lightsaber, and he will have his revenge. The ship begins departure. Aura tells Bane that he seems rather relaxed considering he doesn't trust Maul. He responds that he still doesn't, but there isn't much to be done about it now. While Tech is cleaning up the dead bodies on the ship, a probe droid tries to hurry and make him aware of incoming danger, but it's already too late. Their ship explodes mid-takeoff, while Zrexus watches them from the window. After one of Meraki's comes to tell her the ship has been dealt with, she tells him to make sure all of the guests are aware that the hunt will begin shortly. The sabotaged ship tears through the atmosphere and lands on the moon of Drezgol. Back at the auction, Zrexus turns the disaster into entertainment. Instead of recovering Eldra herself, she offers the criminals a new opportunity: hunt the survivors. The entire moon becomes a hunting ground. Back at the wreckage, the crew figures out what happened. A bomb was placed on the inside of their ship, and they figured out they must want them alive. They're interrupted when several ships begin pouring in, and they begin to realize it's not just the Jedi they are hunting. The mission has spiraled completely out of control. What started as a paid job is now survival against dozens of armed hunters. Maul senses the approaching enemies and decides they need to separate. Bane, Aura, and Vordilo will steal another ship, while Maul takes Eldra away from the crash site. All this time, Maul thought it was only his anger for the Jedi that kept him moving forward. He's quickly realizing that it's the excitement as the hunters are getting closer. Eldra offers Maul assistance if he sets her free so that she can defend herself, and he actually does it. He sets her free and hands her back her lightsaber. For the first time in his life, Maul and a Jedi are forced to exist side by side without immediately trying to kill each other. The hunters immediately close in, and Eldra shows no fear, not of the criminals hunting them, and not of Maul himself. That impresses Maul because he realizes she's extremely well trained and probably close to becoming a full Jedi Knight. Meanwhile, a couple of hunters are in search of the Jedi. They find footsteps and figure she went this way, until they hear a man call out to them from a distance. It's Cad Bane. He tells them there's no Jedi here, but they can take their best shot at him. The leader challenges Bane directly. He proposes a straight duel between the two of them, and Bane agrees. Suddenly, Vordilo jumps from above, killing one of them, while Aura snipes from a distance. Bane finishes the rest, claiming even though he would have won the duel, doesn't mean he plays fair. Maul and Eldra manage to escape for now, and Eldra is trying to understand him. She asks about the Sith. She asks why go after her now after they stayed hidden for so long. Maul responds that the Sith will remain hidden. She tells him to get on with it then, but he tells her no. Their fight is sacred, and it won't be ruined by these thugs. But she says that there's more to it than that. He's scared of someone finding out, but she's not sure who. Time passes. They are now fighting together again. While this is happening, Maul starts thinking that under different circumstances, Eldra might actually have been tempted toward the dark side. He believes she has anger inside her and thinks she could have even become an ally. After the battle, Eldra tries one last time to reach him. She tells him they don't have to be enemies, and he doesn't have to completely surrender himself to the darkness. He tells her that if she truly believes that, then she is not the Jedi he thought she was. She says she only offered him that chance before he got himself humiliated and killed. The temporary alliance has completely died. The two finally prepare for the duel. They've both been delaying the entire day. Eldra ignites her blue lightsaber first. Maul ignites his red blade in response, and thinks to himself, at last. Over the moon of Drazkal, Zrexus hears news that the Jedi has been a problem for the hunters. Most of the hunters are dead, and others are giving up. Zrexus doesn't care, because their payment's already cleared. To her, the bloodshed is just part of what they paid for. Finally, Maul and Eldra begin dueling on the moon. Maul is almost happy, because this is the moment he risked everything for. He thinks about how he was trained for this one purpose. Even though Sidious ordered him to wait and stay hidden, Maul feels that crossing blades with her makes the betrayal worth it. At first, Maul overpowers her. Eldra flips behind him, but he blocks her and kicks her away. He tells himself she is fast, cunning, and strong in the Force, but still inferior. Eldra uses the Force to throw a storm of rocks at Maul as he blocks them all with his lightsaber, but she surprises him and slashes him across his chest. That makes Maul realize he underestimated her. Instead of being angry, he becomes more excited because this is exactly the battle he wanted. Maul notices Eldra is mostly defensive, but she is not just surviving. She is waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He compares that patience to something Sith-like. Eldra tells him she will not let him butcher her, and even if he kills her, she is only a Padawan, not the Jedi Knight he truly wants. He kicks Eldra in the face, and she force pushes him into the rocks, then throws her lightsaber above him. He mocks her for missing, but she tells him she wasn't aiming at him. The rocks collapse on top of Maul. Eldra goes to retrieve her saber, thinking the fight may be over. But Maul bursts out of the rubble and impales her with his lightsaber. As she dies, Maul tells her she was wrong about herself. She is a true Jedi. She slowly collapses onto the barren surface of the moon. Maul remains standing above the dying Padawan, his red blade casting light across the rocks around him. The thing he spent his entire life waiting for finally comes to an end. He's killed his first Jedi. Afterwards, his probe droids then tell him the bounty hunters did not abandon him, which surprises him, but he realizes they came back because they still want payment. He says he will see to it that they get paid, but he will not be traveling with them. He has something he needs to do first. Zrexus is in the middle of asking her servants for more wine. But the person who responds is Maul. He appears from the shadows and tells her all her servants are dead. She tries to barter for her life, but he says money is useless to him. She guesses he is there for revenge, then reveals she knows what he is, a Sith. That's all he needed to hear. Maul raises his lightsaber to kill her. Back on the planet, Coruscant, Maul is having a conversation with Sidious. He already knows Maul killed the Padawan. Maul realizes Sidious set everything in motion as a test. Maul thinks he failed because he disobeyed, but Sidious says defiance is the nature of the Sith. Then Sidious asks if Maul is satisfied. Maul tells him no, and Sidious simply responds, good. Killing Eldra does not fulfill Maul. He expected satisfaction, but instead he feels emptier and angrier. Only able to be satisfied once all Jedi are dead. All according to Darth Sidious's plan.